Welcome. For the audience tonight, I am David Friedendahl. I'm the mayor of Glendora and serve as the presiding officer over the city council meeting. In consideration of others and the business conducted tonight, please silence your phones and any electronic devices and refrain from speaking unless recognized. Yeah, be organized too. If you're in attendance and wish to speak during public comment and/or public hearings, speaker cards are located in the lobby and on the podium of the speaker podium right in front of me. Again, this is a public meeting for the community of Glendora, and we appreciate and respect your participation in this evening. For the record, all the members of the council are present. Thank you very much. And we are ready to conduct our business. We have one item that is an emergency item to conduct in closed session, and our city clerk, Ms. Sussman, will read us into that.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members, an emergency item arose after the posting of the agenda, and there is an immediate need for the City Council to take action. Tonight's agenda was revised on January 13th to add a 6 p.m. closed session with the needed closed session item entitled Threat to Public Service and Facilities. A closed session will be held pursuant to Government Code 54957 regarding a possible threat to public service or facilities. A two-thirds vote of the City Council is required to officially place this matter on the agenda. At this time, I request a motion to add the emergency item to the January 14th agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We'll conduct an oral roll call. Councilmember Davis?
Yes.
Councilmember Elias?
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Alouas?
Yes.
Mayor Friedendahl?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Allowing for public comment. We invite public comment at this time on the closed session item only. I do not see anyone in the room. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody online?
We do not.
And have we received any correspondence toward that?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. If there are no participants, we will adjourn to closed session at 6:03. Okay. Wow. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have just been in a closed session, and if I may ask our city attorney to read us out of the issues discussed in closed session, please.
Yes, Mayor Friedendahl, the council met in closed session pursuant to Government Code 54957 regarding possible threat to public services and facilities. City staff gave a briefing to the council regarding the city's water system, the water supply, water capacity, and the potential imminent threats posed by fire hazards. There was no other reportable action taken, though.
Thank you, sir. And I will call our meeting of the general meeting to order at 7:06. We did a roll call at the earlier part of the meeting when we opened closed session. Everyone is present. And if I may indulge just a moment, during our final meeting in December, this body did an agenda item to reorganize the officers, and the organization was conducted. I am both honored and humbled to announce that by unanimous vote, I was elected to serve as mayor for 2025. Mr. Alawas was elected to be mayor pro tem. I'm gratified with this confidence of the selection, and I commit that I shall do my best to serve to the best of my abilities. So thank you for that. And if we now may move to our invocation, and if you please rise, Senior Pastor DeMille of the Glendora Alliance Church will lead us, and following that, the Pledge of Allegiance by Armando de Jesus. Thank you.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight in prayer for the city of Glendora. Lord, we thank you for your faithfulness in providing all the resources this city needs to function and flourish. You are the giver of every good and perfect gift, and we recognize that all we have is from your hand. We give you thanks for the police officers, firemen, municipal workers, council members, and our mayor who have been diligent stewards of the responsibility you've entrusted to them. We ask that you continue to guide and strengthen them in their roles, that they may serve with wisdom and compassion. Father, we thank you for your protection over Glendora during the recent devastating wildfires. As your word says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. In this moment, we lift up those who are still under threat. We pray for your mercy and intervention. Please, Lord, hold them in your loving care and shield them from harm. We also ask for your healing touch for those already affected by these fires, whether they've lost their homes, their livelihoods, or loved ones. We ask that you bring restoration and comfort as only you can. Let us be a people, God, who weep with those who weep and who mourn with those who mourn. Help us extend your comfort to those in need with the same comfort that you have given to us. We reflect your compassion and mercy to our neighbors in tangible ways. As we enter into this new year, we lift up the city council meeting, or the first city council meeting of 2025, and we ask that you bless this meeting and guide the hearts and minds of our council members. Grant them wisdom, unity, and clarity as they make decisions that will shape the future of this city. May they seek your will above all else, and may their leadership reflect your truth and your love for all people. Lord, we also pray for the safety of all the first responders who at this very moment are working tirelessly through the crisis. We ask for your protection over them as they face the danger on the front lines. Bring them home safely to their families when the work is done. We thank you, Lord, for your enduring love, your constant presence, and your unyielding mercy. We trust in you completely as our refuge and strength. And we ask your blessing on this upcoming year for peace, prosperity, and continued healing for the state of California. Guide us, protect us, and help us walk in the truth of your word every day. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Amen.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor DeMille and Mr. De Jesus. Appreciate the generous offering. At this point, I will ask if we have any reordering or additions to the agenda. Does anyone wish to pull or reorder an item? Okay, thank you. Entering into our public comment period, I'd like to open public comment and invite members of the public to speak to this legislative body. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes, speaking once on both on and off agenda items. If you are in attendance, we ask that you fill out a speaker card and submit it to the recording admin before the close of the public comment period. Once recognized, speakers should advance to the podium, state your name and the subject matter you wish to discuss. Speaker cards may be located at the counter outside the door and on the podium, and they are yellow, looking like this. At this time, I'll invite the speakers to come up. There we go. And invite our first speaker for the evening and for the year, Mr. Bob Moore. Mr. Moore.
Good evening. In 2007, we hit our maximum birth rate population in America. For the last 5 years, Glendora has had a declining population, and student enrollment is also declining. America grows older every year. We would have already been seeing declining population here in America if not for immigration and migration to this land. Immigrants and migrants contribute $9 trillion to our GDP every year in America. $9 trillion. This is just their output. This $9 trillion does not include their consumption, which also contributes to our economy. So this fact disproves and debunks the lies that immigrants are here to commit crimes. In fact, besides the $9 trillion they produce, statistics prove that they have the lowest crime rates in America, the opposite of the lies being spread about them. For every 100,000 migrants apprehended and deported, 44,000 U.S. jobs are lost as well. It's because migrants provide vital services and products others here in America are reliant upon. This shows that migrants are woven into the fabric of our society and that there is a vital need for these people to be here. We need all of these young immigrants and double the amount to keep up. Immigration entrance quotas are kept artificially low at 1985 levels, 40 years ago, simply because they're not white. Demonizing immigrants is entirely racist-driven. There is nothing wrong with people coming here, wanting to be Americans. It is enshrined in our Constitution and inscribed onto our Statue of Liberty. There is an acute shortage right now of ER personnel at Foothill Hospital, I was told by their staff. If Trump starts mass deportation, he said he would go into hospitals. In 6 months, if you call 911 for a medical emergency, no one's going to come and get you. If you make it into the hospital, no one's going to be there to help you. We will have food outages, medicine outages, medical equipment outages, power outages, sanitation building up in our streets. Our infrastructure, including our bridges, will crumble. 2/3 of Glendora students are non-white and multiracial. Glendora schools will stop functioning because students will not show up. You saw the uprisings in Bakersfield, over 78 people. If you mass deport hundreds of thousands or even millions, you will ignite a race war. A foreign agent from an adversarial country would be doing the exact same thing Trump is by targeting our food supply, medical delivery system, and igniting a race war. Buenos noches y todos, gobierno, Ciudad de Glendora.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Next, I'd like to invite Debbie Neal.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak here this evening. It's been quite a few years since I've addressed this council, and I want to say that I appreciate your ongoing support of the military banner program that I was involved with for many, many years. This evening, I'd like to bring to your attention my concern about the property on the southwest corner of Route 66 and Amelia, adjacent to my home. The alley behind the strip mall has had ongoing issues during the 50-plus years that I have had the home. The major concern I've had for many months now is that of a large pile, and I did send photos, I hope you've received them, approximately 15 feet by 40 feet by 3 to 4 feet high. It's a pile of pine needles, wood chips, and other debris that's been sitting in the alley driveway. I first contacted code enforcement about this approximately 7 months ago. because I was concerned about the fire danger. I was told the situation would be addressed. Over the months, I called code enforcement several times to check on the progress, and there was none. At first, Stephanie would return my calls when I left a message, then no return call. Not knowing what else to do, the week before last, just before the fires started, I spoke with Bill in Public Works. He was able to speak with Stephanie and thought she would call me to let me know the progress. When I heard nothing after a few days, I called Bill for an update. He was surprised that Stephanie had not contacted me. When her call did come, I heard multiple excuses about it being difficult to find the owner of the property. My question was, don't we have a city attorney to advise staff what to do in a case like this? My frustration, I told Stephanie, that if the pile was not removed prior to tonight's meeting, I didn't want to blindside her, but I would be here to let this body know that I'm concerned about the fire danger. Surprise, this morning, 3 people came out and started clearing the pile and spreading it over the open dirt space along the Amelia side of the property. It's now about 1/3 removed. I'm still concerned that a single spark could bring disaster with the remainder of the pile that sits in the driveway. There's other code issues in that same space with vehicles being stored there with flat tires, no headlamps, just stuff that should not be happening. We're the pride of the foothills, and that location is not showing that. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mrs. Neal. Terry Merrick.
Hi, I just wanted to let you guys know and other people know, we are having, so I'm a member of Glendora Together. We're a multi-generational community group that hosts discussion forums, and we've had about 5 of them, I think, so far. And we're having our next one January 26th. And the title of it is Women's Voices and Choices, discussing the diverse interests, concerns, aspirations, challenges of women and girls in our community and how best to support them. And I'm really excited about this one because this was not on our list, but the high school students that are part of our team, they wanted to have this topic. We put it out for community vote on Instagram, and this one won overwhelmingly. So the keynote speaker is Deborah Ward, of the CEO of the YWCA. We have an amazing list of panelists. Monica Garcia, GSU board member of the GUSD, Auburn Haney from Chamber of Commerce, Mia Rosario, Courtney Ewan, who are vice president and president of the Glendora Women's, Glendora High School Women's Access Center, Valley O'Regan, who is a professor emeritus of political science and author of Gender Matters, and Helen Mahmood, who is an asylum officer for Homeland Security, and Abigail Gaines, lead pastor of Vineyard Church. So I'm just taking this opportunity to post my wares, and thank you guys so much. I hope you all come. So thank you. Oh, can I leave these somewhere?
Thank you, Mrs. Merrick. Mr. Joe Cena.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name is Joe Cena, President and CEO of the Glendora Chamber of Commerce. I thank you for allowing me to speak today. First off, I want to thank Councilmember Thompson for your leadership this past year as mayor and as the council representative with the chamber. We value your leadership and your participation in all we do. And we look forward to that continuing. So thank you very much. The chamber is a busy place as usual. There's a lot of things going on, so I just want to go over a few. We're currently looking for the next Citizen of the Year. The applications are out, and they are due January 31st, 5 p.m. at the chamber office. If you want to nominate somebody, you can get the application right on the chamber website, or let me know and I'll get it to you. We We have a few ribbon cuttings coming up. First up, Lifestyle Chiropractic and Sports Performance down on Grand Avenue at 1315 South Grand. It will be on Saturday, the 25th at 10 a.m. Wild and Blooms, it's a home-based kind of a flower business. We'll be at the Chamber office on the 29th at 11. And then Top Billing, right here in the Village, is celebrating 15 years. And they're going to be doing that on February 1st at 3 p.m. So if you want to join us for those celebrations. Also in the bid, it has been calendared, but the next wine walk is scheduled for Saturday, March 22nd. We can get more information on that. They will be putting out tickets and that kind of stuff here soon. But that will be coming up again March 22nd. And then for my Bandad hat, which I always have to try to do wherever I possibly can. A week from this Friday is the annual Bandorama right here at the auditorium at 7 p.m. Tickets can be purchased at gasbandorama.com. Or there's a number of posters around town you could scan. It is at 7 o'clock. It's only $20 unless you want the golden circle. It's all of $35. This isn't your normal, music performance you see at a school. It's a show. So I would highly recommend it and come on out and see who's going to represent us in Washington, D.C. on July 4th of this year. So with that, we're right up the street if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cena. Krista Grange, is it Grange or Granger?
Hi, well, I'm here a little prematurely. My mom and I happen to be coming for two different reasons, so I'm here for two reasons. First, when my mom comes up and speaks, she has a neighbor that lives next to her that is drug addicted and lives in a car, and both of my parents are seniors. I've gone to the police on occasion. We've made calls, but I know he has rights, but I am very concerned about my parents' safety. This gentleman lives in the car, is, throwing rocks at them, curses at them. Lately has been living in the car. He was caught on video today, urinating near the car, which is visible from the public area. We have him on video putting a knife in his pocket. And my parents, I'm just very concerned about their safety. And we would encourage the city or someone trying to get together with us to figure out how to address the issue. My dad's 90 and my mom, I just want to make sure they're going to be safe. And then the other second reason I came up here is while at the Christmas parade this past Christmas, as I was walking around, I noticed one of the cars had two political stickers on it. They were both Trump related. And I just think city events need to be apolitical. So it's not so much about the Trump sticker, if it would have been Biden or whomever, but I would just like to encourage the city to, if we're doing city events, to be inclusive for all and to make sure even if cars or other people that are bringing their personal vehicles or things, that they would just remove those stickers and other things because it's just a charged time right now. And I think it gives the impression that the city endorses one side or the other, and I just think things need to be apolitical and neutral. So thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Mrs. Granger. I guess we have, looks like maybe Mom coming up. Irma Granger?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for letting me speak this evening. So to follow on to what my daughter said, I live in the community that's just behind the tennis court area of the high school. And this is where this gentleman lives, and there are family members that live in the other house. But it's difficult for us. Sorry. It's difficult for us because we can't feel comfortable in our own backyard. This man has a serious drug problem. The police come out. They do respond to the calls, but nothing is done. He hasn't been arrested. There was a recent event in another part of town where I think other relatives live, and he did something that resulted in the SWAT team coming out and having to get him out of the house. So this is a serious issue, and I don't understand why the police department can't do anything, which is why I'm here tonight to bring it to your attention. I want to make sure that you're aware. The the pride of the foothills, as someone said earlier. We moved here because this is a great community. I've been through the Citizens Academy through the police department. I'm impressed with the police department, but I'm feeling disappointed right now because I don't feel that we're being heard, and it's not just me. I've spoken to neighbors. There are other neighbors that are concerned. There are young children, minors that live in that community. Today on our security, or was it yesterday, there was a young girl walking past the car on her way to school, and I just don't think that that's the kind of environment that we want to create in this community. Surely there's something we can do. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention and let you know what's going on, and to let you know that, at least from my perspective, I will continue to bring it up. It's not fair. We're law-abiding, tax-paying citizens, and it feels to me like a criminal's rights are being more important than our needs. So that was it. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Mrs. Granger. Brittany Myers.
Good evening. Thank you for hearing us out. My name is Brittany. This is my son, Beckett. We're part of your district, Mr. Thompson, and a lot of our neighbors are all here for the same reason, about the same person. We have been in our home for about 8 years, and this guy's been there for the last 4 or 5. And sometimes there's escalations and sometimes there's de-escalations. And the last month has been a significant escalation where he's moved from a home where he's in and out to the car that they spoke about. He's pointed a BB gun at girls. He had a knife this week. He's doing drugs on the street. My kids can't go outside. When kids come over to play, I ask them to please stay in the backyard. We've built a larger fence around our yard so that our kids are safe and they don't have to see what's going on. I've spoken to multiple people at the police department. I've pulled reports on how many calls there have been. I have talked to the neighbors multiple times. We've talked to the people who are living in the house. They've told us a bunch of lies about restraining orders they have or haven't pulled. And we do feel very helpless. Our hands feel very tied. And so we came tonight to help and ask as an appeal to you guys to help us with the situation because it's gotten dangerous. There's high schoolers on the street all the time. He's high. He has guns and knives. These 3 girls, I took a picture of them yesterday, were carrying sticks around from the wind. High schoolers, completely unaware that he's in the car living there. Something dangerous is going to happen, and someone's going to get very hurt and or killed. And we are imploring you to do something in the meantime. Did you want to say something?
I'm really sad that when my friends come over, we ride our electric scooters up the street, and then I noticed that he's up there doing stupid stuff, and so I'm turn around, go back down the street, and today I was bike riding with my buddies, and I was trying to, and my mom was like, can't go up the street because he's there, and I was like, that's really sad because I really wanted to bike with my friends, and so yeah, thank you.
I just think that when it starts affecting everybody to the extent that it has, we've got to figure something out. And the police department's been very kind. They've tried to work with us, but I'm hoping that if we all work together, we can find a solution that can benefit everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Beckett and Mrs. Myers. Amy Pitcher.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. I, too, am here about the individual that Mrs. Myers and Mrs. Granger have brought to your attention, hoping to appeal to you for some help. This gentleman has made our lives kind of miserable. I'm not able to go for a walk at certain times because he's out there in his car. I've made the mistake of looking his direction where he's asked and he's screamed, what the F are you looking at? I I've called the police myself on him several occasions, not recently. I've had help. We've all been kind of taking turns trying to call the police, and they do come out, as was stated. It seems like nothing's being done. When the police do show up, he leaves the middle of the street, goes back to his property, and it seems like nothing gets done. It is a concern being we're near a high school. We have children on our street who can't play because this gentleman's living in a car on the side of a house out there for all to see. On my way here, I saw him. He was hanging half in and half out of the car. He could have been high, I don't know, but he walks around the middle of the street in the middle of the night as well. I almost hit him once because he was wearing all black, walking in the middle of the street. So here also to appeal that hopefully something can be done. I know that there are laws. I know he has rights as well. But he's not really contributing a whole lot to society. So I'm hoping that the council here can help us with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pitcher. Tracy Garski.
Hi, my name is Tracy Gorski, and I too live in the same neighborhood as the Grangers and the Pitchers. I'm here regarding, his name is Andrew Garcia, and he's a known drug addict, and the effect that he is having on our neighborhood. We have repeatedly asked for help, and we get nothing. The police come, they say he has rights. Well, you know what? We have rights too. We own our houses, we pay our taxes. This kid isn't even related to the person who owns the house, from what I understand. He is a known drug addict. We have videos of him carrying a knife, and he has been arrested for pointing a BB gun at 2 young girls. We have watched him light up and smoke fentanyl per the Glendora Police Department repeatedly. He yells and screams obscenities at all of us, and he roams the middle of the street. Some of us can't leave the house when we see him out. The Grangers can't even go in their own backyard. And I got to tell you, this is what upsets me. When you're of the older generation and you have done your time in the world, you should be able to enjoy your home, your sanctuary. And they cannot, because he sticks his head over the fence when he hears them out there and he starts yelling and screaming. You have heard our complaints, which means you are now complicit. If something happens from here on out, if someone is attacked, we're right by the high school. Kids walk home, walk to and from school all the time. You know, if they're attacked, hurt, or if he wigs out and stabs somebody, you guys can be held accountable now, and the city can ultimately be sued. We have asked for help so many times. I ask that each of you look into the past history of this actual house, because it goes back longer than just the last couple years of what this kid has been doing. And I hope that you will see that this is a problem. If this is the pride of the foothills, like our motto says, I hope you guys will somehow get the police department and get on board and get this guy out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gorski. Judy Nelson.
Oh, thank you very much. Council, city manager, city attorney, staff, thank you all so much for the care you have given to our city over the last week or so when we've had all of the scare of the windstorms, possible fires, worrying about our neighbors in nearby cities, and power outages, etc. I served on city council for 9 years. During that time, we had the Colby fires. And thank goodness we didn't have a fire here this time, but I remember the amount of work that went into making sure that we kept the city safe, that the citizens felt responded to, that people were serving extra shifts, staff were working extra hours, lots and lots of questions and comments, and coordinating with all of the different agencies that are involved in making our city safe. And you guys are doing just a fantastic job with that this last week or so. And I'm so grateful. I just wanted to come and let you know that. It's not easy. Mayor Friedendahl, man, you stepped into it. Welcome to the job. And Councilmember Elias, brand new for you, and you've got your feet wet pretty fast too. So yeah, just thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Nelson. Joseph Farrar.
Hi, I've been a resident of Glendora for over 20 years. I came in tonight because there are 3 topics I wanted to bring to the City Council. I'd spoken to City Manager earlier this week. The 3 issues are, 1, getting updates from Southern California Edison regarding when power will be returned. Second topic is there's a water facility a couple blocks south of me at the corner of Lorraine and Sierra Madre that was apparently shut down during the power outage. And then the third issue is brush clearance. So the first issue I'd rate as kind of a 5 on a scale from 1 to 10. I wanted to put that lower because I think it's going to take more time and effort, which is how do we work with Edison to get better updates on when power will be returned? They have a telephone system. It's a labyrinth. You call and you go through. You do not reach anyone. And if you do, they can't really provide you assistance. I finally got billing, and then they told me it was a 45-minute wait. Secondly, they have an internet where you can put in a power outage, and it's supposed to update you. I've used that several times. It has responded and told me the power is back on a day later. That is not timely and useful information. So I have called the police department. When we had the outage at Christmas, they were very helpful. They told me there was a light post had been hit by a vehicle, and they provided good feedback. I appreciated that input. I called recently when we had the power outage. They were not as helpful, and I did speak to the watch commander about some concerns I had, and he's working on that issue. Like I said, I think there are a number of places that could be used to help with this. The city manager mentioned that some calls from the city are forwarded to the library. If that's a resource, or providing input to the police department so they can disperse that to the residents, that'd be helpful. Again, that's something I think is going to take more effort. The second issue is that I found out from the city manager, and I don't want to speak for him, but so maybe I'm not getting all this correctly, but I get the impression, the water facility that's 2 blocks south of me at the corner of Sierra Madre and Lorraine was shut down. There are pumps there that pump water to the reservoirs, which go to the hydrants, which help to fight a fire if we have one. That seems like something that we should work towards, making sure that if there's a power outage, that doesn't shut down. I'm willing to replace all the food in my refrigerator and freezer if I need to, but if the water is not able to pump up to the reservoirs, it's harder for me to replace my home, and my wife will be very unhappy. You're married, you understand that's not a good thing. So I want to try and avoid that. I would rank this as a 10. It's something, I don't know if there are other facilities like that in the city that need to be addressed. I would ask that the council look into that and find ways to address that. We also need information back. The city manager is very helpful in giving me a lot of information I didn't know. I think our residents need to know more about what is being done by the city so that we can work better with you and support you in those efforts, whether it's in voting on certain bills to get additional money for things, or it's approaching certain people to put efforts or petitions to address issues. The third issue I brought up is the brush clearance, and I'd rank this as a 8 between a 1 to 10. I think that we were fortunate we didn't have a fire. However, I'm looking around, and I'm looking at some of my neighbors who have not cleared their brush. And I think we need to do a better job of how do we work towards better educating our residents, including myself, I looked online, you should have a clearance of at least 5 feet around your residence. There's certain things you need to trim trees and bushes and things of that nature. And if we have residents that, for financial needs, or they're elderly or medically challenged, I think we can do things to work with them. Both of my kids went to high school here. They were part of Key Club, and I know that I was in Key Club when I was in high school here in Southern California. We had projects where we do that. The Rotary Club is available. Residents can volunteer if we help coordinate with the city council on providing a list of people to help that. If we want things to happen, and we want to maintain being the pride of the foothills, I think we're going to have to work together to accomplish this. And that means we're all going to have to put in a little or a lot, depending upon your situation, to help that.
Okay,
So-
thank you, Mr. Ferrara. Sorry,
That's it?
Our time is spent, so.
No problem. That was
Great
it.
points. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Madam Clerk, have we received any inquiries online through our hybrid system?
We did not. We did, however, receive one public comment that has been incorporated in the agenda packet, distributed to the legislative body, and made available to the public. And that
Thank
was
you.
one of the public comments that came up.
Very good. Thank you very much. At this time, I will close public comment and bring it back to this body. I will share to the parties with the poor neighbor, I guess is the best way I'll describe the party, that clearly it's a pin on the map in the police department. The police chief is in the room and his representatives. I'm going to expect that they are aware. He may be willing to meet with the group outside this evening and get some follow-up contact information, maybe share some information about what the directions that we were able to take to try to mitigate this unfortunate situation.
That would be great. We would appreciate that.
Thank you. And to Mrs. Neal, I know that the Public Works and the police who are involved with community preservation are in the room and they heard you. I suspect there'll be some good activity on that problem. Thank you.
I would just add on that front, the individuals that you sent us today are not affiliated with the city whatsoever. So that was a private party cleanup. That entire area is also private property. It's not in the public right of way. So some additional challenges there. But the people that were starting to address it, staff just confirmed, those are not related to the city.
Okay.
So the owner is.
The owner is slowly responding. Okay. I expect we'll help keep an eye on that for its status. Thank you very much. This time I'd like to, Chief, yes, please.
Can I come up for just 1 minute?
Sorry to put you on the hot spot, but
Oh, no, not a problem. I'd be happy to engage with anybody. Thanks for the time, by the way. I'd be happy to engage with anybody, but sitting in the back of the room, listening to everybody's comments, I think the best way to handle it, instead of being outside in the dark, in the cold, we can take some more time with all of these people. If Ms. Roxanne said, if you could email me all the people that came up and gave public comment and anybody that else in the neighborhood that wants to talk, I'll have our community impact team reach out and set up a meeting where we can be more comfortable and take some more time. To address some of the comments quickly, they know the names. They were bouncing around the names and everything, so I don't like to say anything that I shouldn't say in public, but they know his name already, Andrew Garcia. All of our police officers know Andrew Garcia. We've had a lot of contact with him. We've arrested him several times. That's all public information. It's on our public information sites. We will continue to do as much as we can. We are aware of the problem. Like I said, everybody knows Andrew by sight and by name, and we will do as much as we can. If you witness anything at any time, please call us and report it. A lot of times, people think that they might be bothering us. Call and make a call for service, and we would be happy to come out and do everything we can at the time to handle any problem we can. It's a little bit difficult with the situation we find ourselves in with people that can be drug addicts and how they use and when they use in the criminal justice system. I assure you that we have arrested him over and over again, and we'll do as much as we can in the future, and we'll set up a meeting for all of you to provide as much information as you can. But in the meantime, if you see something, say something, just please call us as much as you want to and anytime you see a problem.
Thank you, Chief, very much.
You're welcome, sir.
To that point, I'll ask, if you left a card regarding that subject, you may or may not have included a phone number or email. That would be very helpful if you would please add that to the cards. Thank you. Okay, may I bring it back to the body for member statements? And I'll start with Shauna.
Well, thank you. Happy New Year. It's been an eventful year so far, and we're only 2 weeks in. I just want to say, notwithstanding the comments by the last gentleman, my experience over the last week or two during the high winds and the fires here in the foothills with our staff was amazing from my perspective. So I just want to take a minute to publicly thank Adam and the staff for everything that they were doing. It was nonstop. As worried as we were as residents and parents and grandparents and just people here in Glendora, they were as well. A lot of them live here in town, but they worked through all of that. The amount of communication that was going on in the back end to keep us abreast of what they were doing was extraordinary. When that emergency alert went out, I think probably all of our phones were blowing up, and I can't imagine how exponentially more it was for staff, but they were responsive. After the fact, Public Works was amazing in getting our streets cleaned up. Our social media team and keeping the public in the loop on what was going on, I thought was really good. So, I just wanted to say that publicly. I'll also say I appreciate everybody that spoke tonight. We heard you, and those are important issues, and we'll make sure that they get addressed. So I appreciate you all spending your time to come here and talk to us about that. And then one last thing, I just wanted to let everybody know there's a really neat event that's coming up next month. It's being hosted by Seroptimist of Azusa Glendora. They're an organization that helps women and girls, and they're having their annual auction and brunch at the Glendora Country Club. It's a pajama party theme, $85 a person. If anybody is interested in attending, please reach out. It's a great event, and the money raised from that event goes towards helping women and girls here in our community in Glendora and Azusa, so it stays local. So I recommend people partaking in that. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Shauna. Karen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There are no words to capture what we witnessed this last week for the impact that it had on so many lives, on so many levels. So we definitely extend our sympathy, our compassion, our thoughts to those who've been impacted in a variety of ways, especially those who've lost loved ones, lost their homes, their business, their pets, their sense of security. And so we definitely extend our hearts to them in these difficult times. And then also extend a heartfelt gratitude to everyone that was out there making a difference, from firefighters to law enforcement to public works crews to IT folks to power crews and to neighbors, just helping neighbors. And I think that that is the important thing going forward, is everybody just continuing to check on neighbors, kind of check on friends. One of the questions people have asked over and over again is, what can I do to help? Well, it begins with anyone that you know that personally may need that help, seeing what you could do, maybe buying them a gift card, just listening to their story. And then even closer to home, when the winds go out, check on your neighbors, that elderly neighbor, the sick neighbor, the neighbor that maybe is at work 40 miles away and is worried about their home, whatever it may be, just continue to check on one another, which leads to the neighbors that came here tonight. You have exemplified in your caring concern for one another and coming together that you want to make a difference in your neighborhood by addressing a situation there, that is the best way to go about it. So thank you for being here tonight and addressing that. And I know that city staff and the police department will continue to try to help you address that problem and make it a safe neighborhood for everyone involved. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And it's been over a month since we've met, and I just want to kind of reflect on a couple of things that happened. Parade that we had was a spectacular event. I'm told it's probably one of the biggest events that we've ever had here. I think we had 122 groups that were in that parade. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one that helped out with that. It was a wonderful day, a spectacular day from a weather standpoint. And so thank you for that. The city, the bid, really leaned in and made sure that Santa Claus was around for not only that day, but some other days. And I know that that gave a lot of joy to a lot of folks. I want to echo what has been said about SCE, and I was going to make a statement tonight. I'm going to hold off on that, and I'll make a statement on the 28th. I know that Joseph, I ran into him the other day, and he and others are of like mind. And we commend the incredible work that a lot of their crews do, but there is process and systems that need to be addressed, and so I'll talk about that more on the 28th. Lastly, I just want to echo what has been said. We have just a great staff, and I know that police, fire, our management team, our street folks, the public works, water, they have all been working extremely hard to make sure that we've been kept safe. And thank you, thank you, thank you for the tremendous job that you have done. And we appreciate that. They have also given of their time, their talent and skills to the cities that have been affected by these fires, and I want to say thank you to each one of them for the extra hours that they have given. So thank you, and but especially to our management team, we are in good hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Mendel. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. Notwithstanding all the negative news and everything, I hope everyone had a happy holidays and had a wonderful new year. I know we did as well. Going back to these fires and everything of that nature, I want to echo and extend on what my colleagues have said. Staff had done an amazing job. They were already prepared before the winds started. They had companies staged already, the tree services and other folks as well. They planned this way ahead of time, and you saw this. You saw it in the streets. We have a lot of cleanup that's been done pretty quickly. I've talked to a number of my colleagues in other cities, and we are far ahead of a lot of the other cities in their preparedness and what we've already done. So I don't have the words to thank staff, all of the staff. You have the public works, you have PD, you have the water, you had all these different folks that worked in concert under the direction of our city manager. Did an amazing job. Without that, things could have been far worse. We were very, very lucky. And also on top of that, Congress reached out to us as well with information for us as far as support areas, resources, things of that nature, which was distributed to staff, which distributed to many other folks. And not all cities necessarily had received some of this information, so it was dispersed amongst them as well. So we're a good community, not only just for us here, but also to our neighbors as well. And we've also, and helped some of the other cities, we've dispatched some of our staff to other cities that were in need particular help. I wanted to touch on, Mr. Farrar had mentioned the SCE water facility and the brush clearance. This was a top of our discussions quite a bit, actually. And Adam, can you just talk a little bit about your phone call that you were on with SCE, and also to let everybody know that Southern California Edison did a major layoff in October, and we had lost actually the manager for the city from SCE and some other support folks as well. So that was in a bit of flux. But if you can just give us just an overhead view of SCE since that came up on a discussion.
So as all of you appreciate that, and the mayor was also on the call, and I know he's going to touch on some of his comments on that phone call, and the chief that all of you have met this evening was also on the call. So I'm sure all of you sitting in the audience and the 4 people watching at home will know that that we had some power issues in town here. And so Edison, based on a lot of very, very upset people, held a meeting, and honestly, from the impressive standpoint, is they sat there and took every last question that staff had to ask, from the superintendent of Malibu Schools to council members in Marietta to every place in between, about why it was that power was going out and the maps weren't updated and the time frame wasn't right, and why did the neighbors that have a Foothill interface have power and I'm 2 miles away and my power's off, and so I think Edison in many ways was brutally honest with us. They shared the PSPS program that they did is actually subject to approval and a mandate of the CPUC, that the CPUC approves all those rules, that they don't turn on power until they visually inspect every circuit that they turn off. They shared with us that they know the maps are about 85% right, about 85% of the time. They also mentioned that regardless of any notification that's done, if in their incident command they receive notification of what they call a microclimate event, I believe was the term utilized, that they will turn off the power without notification. The superintendent of Malibu Schools was sharing with people on the phone call, and there was about 200 public officials, both elected, city managers, police chiefs, so on and so forth, that mentioned that on 4 consecutive days without warning, all of the power at their school district was shut off, and how parents would start showing up and the streets are a mess and everything else like that. And Edison reminded him that they have no requirement and do not plan to do notification in some instances if the incident is going to be there, because it may cause loss of life or large property damage. So still a lot of work to be done. As Councilmember Thompson indicated, we will be making comments to Edison and inviting them to come to a council meeting. Joseph, I appreciate you coming down today, and really appreciated our robust discussion and your willingness to come in and talk to your city and try to get some answers. So you will all have a chance to talk to Edison or come in and express your displeasure when they do come, and we are inviting you to come do that.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, so I mean, I was affected, as were several of the council members, affected by power outages. Our chief, who lives in a different city, was affected longer than all of us with power outages. So it is difficult and it is inconvenient, and while we understand and are fortunate that the fires didn't reach us, there are some significant concerns that we hope to get their attention of and address. So like I said, I know that the mayor will touch more, but the phone call was 2 hours of not very pleasantness.
Can you touch on the water facility on Lorraine?
Yeah. So the water facility on Lorraine, as was indicated, has some critical infrastructure there and pumps that fill up those tanks, and those tanks in a gravity-fed system move water through the rest. And, you know, that power was shut off too. And while we have a generator on site that is a mobile one that's more permanently affixed, you know, we have other areas in town when we lose power and there are pumps there. We have mobile devices that we take around town to make sure water's getting pumped into your tanks, and all of you, when you turn on your tap, have water. And so we're critically aware of everything that's occurred, and what happened in the Eaton and Palisades fire is simply unmanageable and just overwhelming. Staff did their very best to ensure that if we were faced with this circumstance, that we would give ourselves the very best chance we had. But Edison's protocol causes staff basically on 24/7 watch to ensure that we're moving around mobile assets and moving around water and monitoring levels of waters in tanks, and hopefully there's not a structure fire and we're moving more water around. So I know Bill's here back there and some other water staff, and they'll be presenting later tonight, but they do just an absolutely incredible job despite the fact that we may or may not have power. So they do an incredible job, and it's been a lot of work.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
As a proactive, staff filled up all the water tanks ahead of time. So just, 'cause since he mentioned it was gravity fed, just in case we did lose power over a certain amount of time, we had the water available. We also talked about being proactive with getting information for residents about clearance for fire, what we can do, technology that's out there. So that's to come in the future here, not too long, so we can work on that together and disperse that to our residents to be more prepared in the future for what we've learned and all the different technologies that are out there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Michael. I'll start with the Edison call since we're on that. It was an interesting 2 hours. One, I don't envy their task. They have an insurmountable mountain ahead of them of difficulty, and while they're sort of geared toward that, nobody wishes for this. I think they also recognize that their fan base right now isn't real strong. So their systems are taxed. Their online, their communication systems are 80% maybe of accurate, on time, real. The other 15% not. You got bad luck like me. You know, I go down the street, I hit every light red. It just happens. So there's a lot of folks that were out of this 200 on the call that were sharing the reality is, hey, my power's on, but the system says it's off, or vice versa. Timing information, real-time information is not real good. They recognize that. They're working on it. What that means, good guess. So not sure, but they are aware that there are issues. So they're at least not defending it as saying, hey, we're doing good. They didn't say that. So I would like to echo also my gratitude to staff for the amazing job they did this week. The members that were willing to come in on off shifts. I witnessed a tree crew at midnight outside my house, not my house because just a tree nearby. Heard a thunk, went out and looked, and nope, there's a truck out there, and they were addressing it. Did triage to it, and then came back later the next day when it was daylight and completed the process. So to all of the staff of the city team, thank you. Congratulate you for the heroic efforts made in this catastrophic time. To the rest of the community, I would like to address a little bit. We've had many inquiries, and certainly it comes from watching the news and what some of our neighboring communities might have experienced. So to address some of those inquiries and follow up on those jurisdictional circumstances, I'd like to assure you that Glendora's water infrastructure is in fact ready to serve. It is in serving condition and operational. Our fire hydrants work. We do have water. We have means in most cases, and we have backup in the cases when they're not, to make sure that we can continue to deliver water. Our fire hydrants are looked at regularly, and I'll say regularly as a 1 to 2 year basis, that they are tested, that they give water when they're expected. But we as a city need to understand that the system was built, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, many parts added into it. And it was built to the best design of the time based on what the need and the demands would be for normal service, with a hint of a calamity now and then. And a calamity might be a house fire or two, certainly not many going simultaneously. I think there's no way anyone could afford or plan to design and build a system for the 100-mile-an-hour, 100-year event on the windstorms. So bad timing on our part. We're here to witness that. But our system is, in fact, functional and capable of providing our services with some extra cushion. We just continue to pray that we never get tested to the capacity that some of the folks west of us got. Because I don't know if anybody's system could address Mother Nature better than what happened. So, but please know that we are in good shape with that. As we continue to look at the next generational capital improvement projects for what could come in our lifetimes when our kids are here, because we may not be here to see that, know that those are considerations, and it all comes down to endless bag of money. Anything can happen, right? So as we do come to those projects that we might need citizen support, keep in mind this last week, and maybe that will help influence our decisions. Okay? Anybody else? Comments from city manager, city attorney?
Really nothing further. I know there was a question about the clearance of brush, and just wanted to say that I know the council's been very supportive of staff putting on training for the public, and while we've provided information previously, we do have staff members that work on emergency preparedness and coordination, and so we will be scheduling some of those educational opportunities, and in LA County, who does do the fire clearance, and those reviews will work with them as well. So more to come on that front, and the next issue of the Glendora report, which is mailed to every single address in the city, both businesses and residents, will be heavily centered around this emergency preparedness topic. So look forward for that as well.
Nothing from me.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, I'd like to move on to our next item, which is a fun time to celebrate. We'd like to recognize our outgoing mayor, Mendel Thompson, for his year of service. And if I may, I'd like to start off. I'd like to thank you for your exemplary leadership as mayor this year, your service to our residents, and the other duties as assigned that you've been given have been done with great leadership, great confidence, and personal acclaim. So to that, thank you very much. You did a great job of keeping Glendora on the map, but out of the news, so that's good. We always like to do that. Your leadership's been excellent, and I hope to be able to follow that model.
Thanks, sir.
So thank you. From there, I'd like to recognize, let's see here. We have some representatives in the room who've come to share some congratulatory items with you. And if I may, I'd like to ask Mr. Abel Casanova, who represents Assembly Member Blanca Rubio's office, to come on up to the podium and throw your barbs, or as you wish, and we'll invite the former mayor.
Good evening, Mayor
to see you.
and council members. It is a great honor to be here with all of you. On behalf of Assemblywoman Rubio's office, we want to congratulate you and recognize your service that you have given the city for the past year. And we do have a token of recognition on behalf of the Assemblywoman and our state's legislature. And if I may, I'm going to go ahead and read it. It says to, on behalf of the California State Legislature and the residents of the 48th Assembly District, I commend you for your dedication to maintaining the safety and the well-being of our residents in the city of Glendora. The strong leadership you have demonstrated has furthered your legacy as mayor. Your commitment to providing essential resources to our youth and families, meeting the needs of our community, and improving their quality of life is truly inspiring. Congratulations and best wishes on future success. Assemblywoman Blanca Rubio. Thank you.
Thank you, Abel. Next, I'd like to invite Zane Aga, representing Congresswoman Judy Chu.
Just gonna keep you right there. It's like half and half. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council members and staff for inviting our office to participate this evening. I'm honored to be able to congratulate Councilmember Thompson as he wraps up his term as Mayor of City of Glendora. And I can think of a lot to say of how Mayor Thompson has served Glendora and led with integrity and strong values. But given the circumstances we find ourselves in this evening, I thought it would be appropriate to share a story of an email exchange we had at the very beginning of your term as mayor, early last year, when California and the Los Angeles County was affected by those crazy freak winter storms and we had flooding and we were getting snow as low as the foothills here in Glendora. I think at around 11 p.m. that night, it was starting to become clear that property in the city of Glendora and people in the city of Glendora and all along the San Gabriel Valley and the 210 corridor were going to start to be in danger. And so our office started to get our ball rolling, and we emailed all of you, and we emailed mayors and I think Adam. And we said, hey, we're here. Please let us know what we can do and let us know how your city is doing. And within 7 minutes, you emailed back with information of exactly how Glendora was doing, exactly what was going on, exactly where power was out, and exactly what the city was doing in order to get it turned on. And I always thought it was really admirable how rain or shine, 24/7, you were always here for your public. So I just wanted to say thank you for your service to Glendora. And on behalf of myself and the Congresswoman Judy Chu, I'm really thankful that you were able to lead us through what was a pretty tumultuous year. So thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mayor.
I know you have 50 of them, but we'll get you a wall going. Thank you. Congrats. Thank you.
Thank you, Zane. Next, I'd like to invite Ms. Vicki Paul, representing Supervisor Catherine Barger's office, our Los Angeles County Supervisor. Vicki?
Mayor and City Council, thank you for letting me be here tonight and extend my congratulations and thanks on behalf of LA County Supervisor Barger for being such a wonderful leader for your team last year. You never know what the year is going to bring, as Mr. Mayor will find out now. And you are always such a steady, reasonable, calm, thoughtful voice. And I echo what Zane says, that you give thoughtful answers like you're a school teacher. They're well investigated, they give thorough information, and it has just been an absolute pleasure working with you. In your capacity as a city council, the Glendora Legislative Action Committee, you're a wonderful representative of what this city stands for, and you're not going anywhere, but you will just be transferring positions. So on behalf of Supervisor Barger, thank you for your year as mayor.
Thank you, Vicki, and please thank the supervisor for all the continued support of Glendora. We know she's extremely busy today. Next, I believe we have a presentation from Mr. Joe Cena, President and CEO of, do you have another second item? Pardon?
Sorry. I don't have the certificate.
Oh, well, come brag for him.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, I'll give you my business card. No, but as I mentioned earlier, Mr. Thompson, it's always a pleasure working with you. Sorry, I don't have a certificate. I'm embarrassed. But again, we really value your knowledge and expertise and your dedication to this position. And as a community member, I know you do it from the heart, and you have the community of Glendora first and foremost. So we thank you for your service and look forward to that continuing. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. Now I'll bring it back to our members for comments, if you might have any. Karen, do you have any?
Well, thank you, Mendel. This last year, you have proven that you're an international leader. So thank you for all that you've done and for always having that compassion and leading with your heart, that people recognize that care that you have, that genuine care that you have for them. And so thank you for that servant leadership and always having a servant heart.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Shauna?
I'll echo what Karen said. You just have a kind heart, and it was said by someone else as well that you're just a calm presence, and I think that that Glendora appreciates that, and it was nice having you at the helm. You're still sitting here though, so we'll still get to enjoy that, and thanks to your family for sharing him with all of us.
Michael?
Well, I have a different perspective being in the briefings with you the last year. They've been fun. No, Mendel, as a new council member, when I came on board, you're always scanning to see what the mayor is doing because one day you hope to be in that spot. And I was always in awe when the first time I was, obviously got on board and you were the mayor the first time in 2018. You were just amazing, and I thought, wow, if I can be half as good as that, I'd be really proud and very happy. And then we went on to trunk it over to Japan back then, and that was very impressive how you represented the city back then. And then you did it again here just recently this last summer. I can't say enough of how professional you are and how you've helped me out in situations and things of that nature. It touches my heart, because we are a family up here, and we go through all the trials and tribulations, each one of us, and we have to work as a team, and it's not always easy because we have different perspectives on things of life, but we always get the job done, and with your leadership and tutelage, it's been an honor to have you as our mayor this last cycle here, and I continue to look forward to working with you in the coming years. So thank you so very much for your service.
Just in time. Well, sir, as a tradition, we get to fix your house up, your office with a little more wallpaper, and we're glad to...
You see what my wife's doing, right?
She might have to throw a Hummel out or something. Anyway, we would like to present you with your gavel to Mendel L. Thompson, Mayor, City of Glendora, 2023-2024, affixed with the wonderful seal of Glendora. Sir?
Thank you, sir. Sure. All right.
Sir, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I didn't expect this to be this late, and I know some of you are anxious to get home. And the most important part is there's cookies here, my favorite kind, so I want to make sure that each one of you take at least 2 or 3 of those home, because as you can tell, I don't need 2 or 3. But I will try to keep this short, but it's hard to think that I've been mayor twice, and the good Lord has enabled me to do that, and I thank him. I thank my lovely wife. Now, she has allowed me to have one wall of stuff, and I don't know where this is going to go. Maybe we'll have to go maybe higher or somewhere, but thank you. But babe, in just a second, I have flowers for you. So thank you. As those that have been mayor know, your family and your grandkids, your kids, they put up with a lot of stuff, and mine has too. But so thank you for your support, Jana and Brock. Thank you for everything, and I really appreciate that. I also want to thank just the public that has allowed me to serve now for a decade. I never thought that I would ever serve here, much less the length of time that I've been able to, do that. But thank you to everybody who has allowed me the chance to, serve, because it's been an awesome thing. The staff, we could not do what we do for every one of you without the great staff that we have. Directors, everybody, from Public Works to Water to Park and Rec to Senior Adult, Police, Fire. Each one of you are just a tremendous tool and gift to what our city is. And the skill sets that you bring and the talent that you bring and the unselfishness that you give every day to what you do is incredible. And so I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you especially to Sam, who is not here, because I am not an IT guy, and he's the IT guy. And we all have those guys like in our life. Well, he's one of them. And then our city clerk. Well, I just want to say thank you to the city clerk. They take care of all of the documents that I was empowered to sign, and David will now sign. But thank you to the ladies that work there. Thank you to each one of you. And I just want to say thank you to the four of you, and to Gary, if you are listening. Thank you. We were elected a decade ago, and you bailed, but I'm still here. But we have had an epic year. I mean, when you think about everything that has happened this year, it's because of us. It's our team. It's not because of me, but it has been an incredible year, topped off by the passage of Measure Z. And I think that was probably one of the highest points of this year, because the public said yes, that we trust you. We trust you to manage the sales tax that's going to come here. And Adam, thank you. Thank you, man. And I hate when I do this, but I do it because I'm passionate. I think I have some Italian blood like in me. And I just cry, and then Brock knows I yell at referees when I think that they've gypped my grandson of a strike or something. It's just that Italian blood, I think, somewhere back in the day that I have. But thank you. And David, you are going to do a great job. This is the real deal here. He's an Eagle Scout, so what more should I say? But you have been steadfast and steady here, and you do your work. You're a diligent man, and we are blessed because you are here. And so thank you. Thank you for being here. And with that, thank you again for giving me a chance to serve. I just appreciate it. And Moises, wherever you are, thank you. And Adam, thank you. And can we take like a minute or two break and everybody can pile in and get some cookies?
Yes, we'll take a 5-ish plus minute recess, enjoy some refreshments, deliver your flowers.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Who's cutting the cake, guys?
There's cake?
No, it's a cookie.
Don't think so, buddy. the City of Glendora master fee schedule for services related to sidewalk vendors and vending. And to do a presentation of that, we will have our Community Development Director, Mr. Jeff Kugel, to report. Mr. Kugel.
As the mayor indicated, this is a public hearing to amend the master fee schedule related to services to sidewalk vendors or related to sidewalk vending, and in particular to establish a fee for impounding sidewalk vendor equipment and merchandise when there are violations of the municipal code. You'll recall a few months ago, or actually going back more than a few months ago, where the council requested both community development and the police department, code enforcement, to report on, code enforcement activities and various issues going on in the city. And one of the things that came out of that was recommendations to amend the municipal code related to sidewalk vending. And so in December, there was a public hearing on the ordinance amending the code, the first reading. The second reading of that ordinance is tonight, and then part of it, because it establishes a section to authorize code enforcement and the police department to impound merchandise and equipment related to sidewalk vending when there are violations of the code. Tonight is a public hearing to adopt the fee and amend the master fee schedule, which is a different requirement of the law, that whenever we're adopting a new fee, a public hearing be held. So after tonight, if the fee and the ordinance are adopted, both will go into effect 30 days from today. And that really sums up my report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Kugel. And this time, I will open for public comment to see if there are any commenters on this item. Not seeing any. Do we have any on the hybrid version?
We do not have any other public testimonies here.
Okay. Then I will, at this time, close public comment and bring it back to council for comment. Mr. Thompson.
Nothing. I want to say thank you to staff for the good work that you've done, and I support this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Karen? Shauna? Michael?
Just one quick question. How did we come up with the fee amount?
So what I did, in coordinating with the police department, having them estimate hours and the cost of staff, the hourly rate, and then estimate the amount of hours it costs to take an impound, and then that was the basis for the fee.
So I know we can't charge more than what it costs us, but how close do you think we have to the nominal cost of putting this together?
Or you mean just to develop the fee?
No. The actual.
Or the actual, I think, well, the estimate came back at really about a couple hours of staff time for both a sworn officer and a code enforcement officer. So those would be the staff primarily working on this, and so it takes into account approximately 2 hours, for both of those personnel.
Okay, well, thank you for that, and thank you for all the hard work that you did putting this together, and the staff as well. I know that there was a lot of discussion around this, so thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Michael. And I, too, would like to thank staff for the great effort and the work to finalize nearly a year's worth of labor and effort since we first started looking at this. And I'm sure our businesses will support our effort to continue to respect their business needs as well. I saw one item in there that there is an opportunity based on review by the police chief that the fee might be waived under certain conditions. I'm confident that we'll be very prudent about how we exercise those if necessary, and trust the chief greatly on his ability to rule in the right direction if that has to come his way. At that point, I would like to entertain a motion to...
I'll move the item.
Okay.
Second.
Great. Moved and seconded.
I will now conduct an oral roll call. Councilmember Davis?
Yes.
Councilmember Alias?
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Alalis.
Yes, twice.
No, she said Elias and you jumped
Oh,
in.
I'm sorry.
May I have your? Thank you. Mayor Friedenau.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Very good. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Our next item is moving into the consent calendar. And items on the consent calendar will be enacted in one motion without individual discussion unless a council member requests that one be removed for separate discussion.
Mayor
Does anyone
Friedenau?
wish to pull one?
Yes, I
City
would like
Clerk?
to request on the behalf of staff that agenda item number 10, approval of an agreement with Sports Facility Group Incorporated for the installation of new bleachers at the Teen Center, be tabled to the January 28th meeting.
Do we need a motion on that? Okay, no. All right, very good. We will pull item 10 and continue it to another meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to approve items 5 through 14 with the exception of 10.
I'll second that, but I have a question on, I guess, the new item 9.
That would be the city pavement. Wait, you mean new item 10?
That's the resolution for CDTFA, is that correct?
Yes, CIP,
CIP or?
the new contract for the roads, for the PCI
Oh,
report.
number 9 is the resolution authorizing examination.
Paving
That would be the
management
new
is
number 10.
11.
The new, okay. The
There's
new
11, yes.
Okay, the new number 10.
Okay, would you like to ask your question?
Yeah, so the report's going to be due in August, the final report, and then we're going to have some preliminaries in June. Are we going to have any information prior to our budget process?
I'll invite Bill if he wants to come up and share. I will just say that the budget will largely be prepared, and a lot of it will be based on some water projects, but our slurry seal and other things, Bill can maybe share some of how we do that later in the year.
Sure, absolutely. You are correct. So thank you, Mr. City Manager. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. Yeah, we actually still have some data from the last PCI that was done in 2020, about 5 years ago. We have been working through some of that information. We will use that as we're preparing this next year's budget while we wait for all of this data to come in. A lot of that work has been partnered with our water main replacement projects. We have several of those that will be coming to you soon for award for design. We also know that we've heard from many residents about Live Oak, Route 66, Sunflower, Juanita, and many other streets. So we know there's some others out there that we can do some grind and overlay, slurry, whatever that might be, without having to coordinate those with the water project. So we are working to evaluate that list now, and we'll have that as part of the budget process.
Great. Last question that I have is, we received 2 bids, and they were completely
Yes.
light years apart. Are there that many folks out there that do this work?
There are not too many that do the work. The secondary bid, the low bid that you saw that we did not go with, really did not meet the specifications that we were looking for. The company that we are recommending has done this once before for the city, but also does it with boots on the ground. That low bid was basically relying on a lot of satellite imagery and camera data that they could collect, and we really felt like that wasn't going to represent our needs as well. We want someone that's going to come out, take a good look at our streets, be it boots on the ground to take and really evaluate where we are, as well as capturing all of the sign data for our regulatory signs for reflectivity, which is something we haven't done but is a requirement, which is part of this as well.
Great. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Any other questions? Okay. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Councilmember Alias.
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Alalis.
Yes.
Mayor Friedenau.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to item 15, to conduct the annual review of city council appointments to various regional organizations as city representatives and delegates, and to adopt proposed resolution appointing delegates and alternates for 2025. With that, I'll invite City Manager Adam Raymond to report.
Good evening, everyone. Just as stated in the report, we do this on an annual basis, which usually occurs with the appointment or selection of a new mayor. we have several boards and commissions that are required for the mayor appointment. So in your packet this evening, in attachment B is a list that has highlighted all of the changes. The vast majority are you, Mayor, assuming the responsibility on some of those organizations, like the City Selection and Sanitation District. Our newest council member, she's taking over the appointment for SCAG, as well as is currently up for a vote to be on the executive board, which is later this week. So we're wishing you the best of luck in that regard. Councilmember Alawas, in addition to maintaining on the his seat with the COG, is also going to help the city out with the capital projects and the construction committee when that comes up. Some of the work we're doing on Glendora Avenue and First Last Mile will be allowed to have a seat at the table on the construction committee, and he will help us out there. Councilmember Davis will be the new alternate on the COG, and she is currently, I believe, with the Housing Trust, working on a seat on the Housing Trust. Is that correct?
Yes. Made application for that, so.
Awesome. So we wish you the best of luck there too, and so we will update the sheet if those appointments are made for both council members. Other changes, Elias, lots of secondary and alternate as you begin your first term on council, so we're looking forward to you asking all the questions and stepping in on that front. If there's any specific questions the council has, happy to answer them, but for the most part, a lot of status quo and a lot of filling in for former Councilmember Boyer's positions here. So appreciate that.
Great, thank you, Adam. And for the public, the city is involved in a great many committees and programs and represented entities around the region. So I invite you to go onto the city website and you can take a look at all those assignments and find out that it's not just 2 hours a week. So a great opportunity. With that, I would like to entertain a motion and a second to.
I'll move item 15.
I'll second it.
Very good. We have a motion by Mr. Alawas, a second by Mrs. Davis. Madam
Now
Clerk, would you
conduct-
please call for the roll?
Councilmember Davis?
Yes.
Councilmember Elias?
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Alves?
Yes.
Mayor Friedenthal?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much. Next item 16 is to be presented the amended bylaws of the Glendora Village Business Improvement District, or BID, Advisory Board. And making a presentation tonight is Senior Management Analyst Alicia Zuniga. Welcome.
Thank you and good evening, Mayor Friedenthal and City Council. As mentioned, my name is Alicia Zuniga, and tonight I will be presenting to you the amended bylaws of the Glendora Improvement Business District, also referred to as the BID. Just some brief background, the BID was established in late 2009 under the provisions of the Parking and Business Improvement Area Law of the California Streets and Highways Code. The City Council then adopted Chapter 5.40 to the Glendora Municipal Code, which includes a BID under Title V Business Licenses and Regulations. The BID would then operate under the city's oversight, with city staff coordinating and facilitating its monthly board meetings, budget, events, marketing, and day-to-day administration. In April 2023, the City Council adopted the city's 2023-2025 strategic plan, comprised of several objectives and tasks that ensure the city achieves its set strategic goals. Changes to the BID administration was included in that adopted plan. In June 2024, the City Council approved a Memorandum of Understanding, also known as an MOU, assigning the management of the BID to the Glendora Chamber of Commerce, who then agreed to oversee the BID moving forward. In addition to the MOU, the City Council adopted amendments to the GMC specific to the BID that would further allow the board and its membership to operate more independently from the city. In effort to better serve its membership, the BID board voted to update their bylaws this past December. The bylaws serve as the BID's governing document that guides its day-to-day operations and decision-making processes. The BID's bylaws were adopted in 2009 and have never been amended. The amended bylaws include several changes that will assist the BID in further establishing autonomy from the city. All revisions are available in your agenda packet and online. For the purposes of this presentation, I will go ahead and summarize the more notable amendments to the bylaws. The first change can be found in Article 1, which now establishes the Chamber as a principal office for the BID and its operations, which is located on Glendora Avenue. Article 3, titled Members, now defines and spells out the term member per Ordinance 1922, as well as confirms that this ordinance may be subject to change. Within Article 4, titled Meetings, changes were made to the annual board meeting requirement from 6 per year to monthly. As it relates to special meetings, the board chairperson or any 3 board members are now designated to call special meetings, removing the mayor as a primary designee. And a section was also added to this article to include an emergency meeting protocol, which was not previously included in the bylaws. Article 6 on board members was amended as well. Previously, BID board members were appointed by the City Council. This amendment removes the City Council from the appointment process and designates a selection committee to appoint board members. BID board members who serve 2 consecutive terms are now required to take a 1-year hiatus before being eligible to run again. In addition, the original bylaw stated that absence from 3 consecutive meetings without an excused absence shall be considered a resignation. This has been changed to 2 unexcused absences or 4 total in a 12-month period. Lastly, a section was added allowing board members to be removed with cause by a majority board vote during either a regular or special meeting. Article 9, which addresses repeal and amendments to the bylaws, was also revised to remove the requirement for City Council approval to amend the bylaws. However, if legally required, the City Council may approve amendments to the bylaws prior to its adoption. And finally, the BID made minimal changes to its mission statement, which is available on the screen for you to read in its entirety. Once again, with the BID bylaws being nearly 15 years old and recent shift in the BID's management, all administrative and substantive changes made to the document help to provide clarity and updated processes that allow the BID to operate more independently. This does conclude the presentation, and at this time, staff does recommend that the City Council approve the amended bylaws of the Glendora BID. At this time, I'm available for any questions, and I know that Joe Cena, President and CEO of the Chamber, is available as well for any questions, should you have any for him specifically.
Thank you, Alicia. Well done. I'll start with Shauna. Do you have any questions or comments?
I don't. Thank you, Alicia.
Mendel?
Just a statement that thank you for your work, your team's work. I know that Valerie has assisted you and others. Joe, thank you for, in your usual gracious spirit, taking on this along with all of your work there at the chamber. I think this is a good step for the BID. It will strengthen them in a lot of different ways, and I think give them the creative power that we would like for them to have. And I support everything that you guys have just talked about, and I think it's a good day for the BID. I would, as I've said prior, I would like to hope and think that someday the BID could expand, or we might have another BID, like an auto center BID. Cities have those, and I don't think it'd be a bad thing to think about. But for right now, I certainly support this. So thank you.
Thank you, Mendel. Karen?
Yeah, thank you for your work on this, and just hope that these changes give them that flexibility so that they can be a little bit stronger and move a little bit swifter. So thank you.
Michael?
Thank you, Alicia, for the report. I look forward to them being successful.
Thank you, and thank you, Alicia, and certainly the entire Community Development Department that helped guide the bid group for many years. Thank you to the Chamber for taking it on, and I think it's a great day for the bid process, and I encourage this, so I applaud the activity. I would like to entertain a motion.
I'll move the recommendation.
Second?
Second. Okay. Moved by Mr. Alamo, second by Mr. Thompson. Madam Clerk, would you call for the vote?
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Alias,
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Alvis,
Yes.
Mayor Friedenau.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Very good. All right, this brings us to item 17, to award an agreement for contract services with WaterWise Consulting for water conservation professional services through June 30, 2025, with an option to extend the term for a maximum of, to extend the term for a maximum of 5 additional one-year periods in amount not to exceed $275,000 per fiscal year. Presenting tonight, we have management aide from the water world, Mr. Armando de Jesus. Sir, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Friedendahl and council members. My name is Armando de Jesus, management aide for the Public Works Department Water Division. Tonight, I will be giving a really brief presentation regarding the WaterWise consultant contract. Okay, our objective tonight is to award an agreement for contract services for WaterWise Consulting to help the Public Works Water Conservation Section to conduct water efficiency audits, rebate inspections, and irrigation upgrades / retrofits for all Glendora homes, businesses, and institutions. With over 23 years of experience, WaterWise Consulting partners with water suppliers all over California to promote conservation. We are lucky enough to actually have them as a local business in Glendora. They're right off of Grand Avenue north of Arrow Highway. So they've been a great asset for our team over the past 2 years. Their accomplishments include conducted more than 60,000 water use efficiency surveys across residential, commercial, and public sectors. They completed over 4,000 rebate inspections and installed upwards to 100,000 water efficiency irrigation devices. Customers participating is essential to achieving our conservation goals. Water use efficiency audits help residents, businesses identify ways to save water, indoor and outdoor. These audits also include the verification of meters, the measurement of landscapes for commercial, industrial, and institutional properties. This is a new requirement that the state urban water use objective regulations implemented this year. And to provide education and best management practices. WaterWise Consulting specializes in offering these audit services for all types of properties. Services such as residential water surveys and large landscape surveys are currently covered under the Metropolitan Water District Program, which is also a service through WaterWise. These services will be billed directly to MWD. Water use efficiency, water use efficiency service often reveal inefficiencies like outdated indoor plumbing fixtures and aging irrigation systems, replacing old fixtures with low-flow aerators and upgraded irrigation systems with high-efficiency nozzles, drip irrigation, weather-based controllers can greatly reduce water usage. The new contract with WaterWise will include services such as minor repairs of irrigation system leaks, installation of new smart controllers, high-efficiency nozzles, and drip irrigation for residential and commercial properties. The adopted fiscal year 24-25 budget for the Water Division Conservation Section includes adequate funding to support community conservation initiatives as detailed in the table below. According to the city's GMC, the city can piggyback on another agency's bid award for equal or better pricing. WaterWise Consulting offers similar rates to those secured by Los Virgenes Municipal Water District for water use efficiency audits, inspections, and irrigation retrofits, allowing the city to benefit from Los Virgenes' completed competitive bid process. The City Glendora's contract amount is up to $250,000 with a 10% contingency with a final cost of $275,000 with an option to renew to 5 years. At this point, staff recommends that the City Council award an agreement for contract services with Waterwise Consulting in an amount not to exceed $275,000 per fiscal year. Authorize for Public Works Director to execute any necessary contingencies in an amount not to exceed 10% of the original contract amount. And to authorize the city manager to execute an agreement, including extensions for up to a maximum of 5 one-year periods. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Armando, very much. Open up for comments or discussion by the panel. Karen?
No, just thank you for working on this, and thanks for all that you continue to do to help us conserve water.
Mendel?
I would echo those same words, and I think it's a timely thing, especially with all of the state laws that are coming down that are affecting us. I think this is a very important thing to do, and your timing is very, very good, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Shauna?
I echo what my colleagues have said, and I appreciate your report. Thank you.
Michael?
Mondo, thank you for your report. Have we ever had a lapse in services from Waterwise?
Sort of. So our contract actually did expire in July of last year. With Metropolitan Water District working directly with Waterwise, we've actually still sending our customers directly through them. So we were not actually doing any of the retrofit program, but we were still providing services for water audits. So we were still continuously sending to them, even though we don't have a contract with them. We've made those connections with them that we're still able to kind of send them their way, and they're still helping our residents till today. So there was a bit of a lapse that we couldn't actually provide some of those programs now, but now that we're there, we're happy to kind of restart and provide those additional programs that we didn't have before.
So how do our residents and ratepayers get a hold of Waterwise first? And secondly is, do we still have some of the water-saving devices at the water department that we can give to residents if they ask for it?
Yes, they do. So so first, Waterwise does have an actual website directly. I believe it's through Metropolitan Water District. So all of it's done online. We do have residents that do require assistance. They don't have computers online, so we do take that information directly for them. And with our contacts, we let them know they need assistance, and they actually call them directly.
Was it possible to put a link on our website?
Yes, we can. Yeah, absolutely. And second, we do have at the water yard, we do have some devices such as garden hose nozzles and moisture meters, shower heads. Those kind of smaller devices, irrigation controllers will be covered under this new contract.
So how do they get a hold of you at the water yard since it's a locked facility?
All you have to do is give us a call. We could actually have someone drop them off at the property, or they can come pick it up. The phone number is actually on the gates. We do allow residents to come in as long as they let them know what they're there for, and we'll give them for free as many as they need.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I approve this. I think it's a wonderful program, and the fact that you were able to find an in-town source for great service is a win-win. And certainly the incentives to conserve water are only growing in the next generation. So great job. So thank you very much. With that, I'll
move items 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, may we call for the vote?
Councilmember Davis?
Yes.
Councilmember Elias?
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem
Yes.
Lois? Mayor Friedenau?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much. Well, sadly, that concludes all our business for the night. Thought we were going to go for a while, but that's all right. Welcome to 2025 and our first meeting. I think it was a successful celebration and business. And thank you, staff and team members for holding up with us and bringing us this great work. Does anyone have any closing comments or remarks? Adam, Danny? No? Okay. With that, at 9:09 PM, I call a meeting adjourned. Thank you. That's pretty cool.